Hey friends, I wanted to take a quick moment before this video. First off, I want to let you know I am very grateful that you are here following me and getting your information about wealth building and real estate investing from yours truly. I know there are a lot of options out there and people you can watch, so I really appreciate that you trust me with your time and attention. Second, you may notice in this video that the video quality is not that great. That's because of the way that I recorded it. I had to do it on Zoom. I didn't have the right camera. Well, I fixed that. From now on, you should expect quality just like this in any video that you watch. So please pay attention because I think this is some really good content, but know that in the future, you'll be getting a higher quality video like you're seeing right now. All right, that's all I got. Thank you and check out this video. There's things that happen in this world that you know exactly where you were when you first heard the news that shocked you in your heart. And Brandon Turner leaving the Bigger Pocket podcast was one of those things. I remember exactly where I was when Brandon first approached me. Now, I'm going to share some insight with you about how Brandon broke the news, what he talked about, and then maybe most importantly, how I responded to that when what I wanted to do was curl up in the fetal position and cry because Brandon leaving the Bigger Pockets podcast is only rivaled by Michael Jordan leaving the Bulls to go play baseball for the White Sox. So Brandon gave me a call and he said, hey, there's something we want to talk about. And that's not abnormal. Usually he just wants to describe, what he saw happen on the last episode of Dancing with the Stars, whatever guitar chord that he's struggling with, or how he just can't find a car that will actually fit him that they can get to Hawaii. But this one was a little bit different. Brandon broke the news. He said, David, I think I have to step away from the podcast. I've already decided I'm going to do it. I just wanted to let you know first and maybe have a conversation with you so that you can prepare for what you're going to do moving forward. Now, when I got that call from Brandon, it was hard. I mean, that was a punch in the gut to me. That basically was, hey, my career with Bigger Pockets could be coming to an end because what does it look like when the dynamic duo is left with only one person? So there was absolutely a looming shadow that was hanging over my head that this could be terrible for me. And those thoughts, they just like that little demon that gets on your shoulder, it starts whispering in your ear. It's over. The run is over. You're not gonna be able to keep doing this. The podcast is going to struggle. Everyone's gonna blame you. But instead, I was able to listen to the angel on the other side that was whispering, yeah, that sucks, but this is opportunity. But this is actually a great way for you, David, to learn new skills, to become a better interviewer, a better orator, more articulate, a smarter person who can get more insight into the minds of the people you're talking to, and let my creative side kind of stretch its wings a little bit that's never been able to do. If I look at it from that perspective, this might be one of the biggest opportunities that I've ever had in my entire life to step up my own game. What I just like to say is that every single time this happens to us in life, it's not just when it happened to me on the podcast. We all have that same decision to make. It's all about your mindset. And because I've been interviewing people that are very, very successful in the mindset episode of the Bigger Pockets podcast, that's how I'm now thinking. I'm seeing the world through that lens. And if you're not listening to that, I would highly recommend you do the same because it can make a very big difference in the quality of your life at the end of the day. Now, if you don't know Brandon Turner, one thing that you should know about this guy, he is absolutely the jump out of a plane and build your parachute on the way down type. So when he says he's going to do something, he's already committed to doing it. So I knew he had been wrestling with this thought for a while before he shared it. And I'm typically not that way. I usually like to plan out exactly what I'm going to do. Like my example would be, I want to line up all the dominoes and I'll take a while to do that. But then when I push that first one over, they're all going to line up and fall over. And it's going to seem like it happened really quickly. But Brandon's a little bit different. So when he told me this, I realized, oh, he's not kidding. This is actually going to happen. And he made it clear that he just said, I want to spend more time with my kids. And it's a big commitment to be able to bring content to the Bigger Pockets audience like we're doing right now. And I understand that because for every episode you guys see of the podcast, there's a whole lot more that goes into the back end of it. And not just from me, we have a whole production team, Kevin, Eric, and several other people that have full-time jobs to put that thing together. So I understood the toll that was probably taken on him as far as time. And he has two very young kids. They are adorable. They love their dad more than anything. And you could just see that his heart was telling him this is where he needed to be. So we're having this conversation and my heart sinks. My first thought I'm thinking is like, how am I going to get the same chemistry that I have with you with another co-host? What does Bigger Pockets look like without Brandon? Or what does Halo look like without Master Chief? Frankly, it's just hard to try to picture it. So As my mind was racing, I was immediately faced with two options. The first is always the easiest one, and the times in my life that I've taken that road, I often regretted it. And my guess is you probably have too. When you felt fear, when you felt that pit in the middle of your stomach and you knew something was out there that could hurt you, there's a temptation to curl up, to circle the wagons, to say, I got to protect what I have left. Somebody took something from me and they might take more. So I got to hold on to the little bit that I have. Maybe you lost a property in 2010, 2011, 2012, and you thought, I only have a little bit of money left. I can never lose it again. I'm not investing in real estate. I'm going to circle up and I'm going to protect this thing. And what happens is you end up putting walls around yourself to keep you safe that ultimately become a prison. So I've lived enough life that I've recognized that doesn't feel right, but what am I going to do? And that's when my mind eventually started moving towards, what would it look like to make more content than what we're doing? Different content. So Brandon and I are great in the sense of interviewing a guest and pulling out the best of their story, repackaging it, and then selling it to you. Sort of like taking all the stuff in the buffet, picking out the best parts and just bringing that to your table so that's all you have to eat. But I realized that if we're not just doing that format, then Brandon's loss won't affect everybody else quite so much. And that's when we came up with these other ideas to do different show formats. So what I'd like to build this up to is a longer form podcast where we are actually bringing in experts in this space. I'm talking about economists. I'm talking about leading mortgage loan officers or people who own financial companies, people who own brokerages or real estate sales teams that sort of know the data and the metrics of what's going on in the market as a whole. Leaders of tech companies that are trying to disrupt the way that real estate's been done, and sit down and go over the current events of the space with all of you to listen to so that you can get insight into the minds of very smart and successful people that normally you just wouldn't have access to. So what I'm getting at here is what I realized was that the worst thing I could do would be to circle the wagons, play defense, and worry about more being taken. And instead, I went on the offensive. And now I'm in talks every single week with BP production staff of how we can make better episodes and more content. Now, what I would love from you is all your support. I would love for you guys to rally behind me and say, hey, it sucks that Brandon is leaving, but we can rebuild this thing. We can make it even better. And we're going to follow David and follow the new shows that are coming out and give me the feedback of what you want to see more of. Because if we all handle this right, we can take what was the best podcast and make it way better. We're talking about when the Golden State Warriors brought in Kevin Durant. That's absolutely possible. So I would like to encourage all of you, when you have your moment, when the phone rings or that person says, we need to talk, and they give you news that absolutely shakes you to your soul, okay? This could be your boss saying, we have to let you go, and you didn't know it was gonna be there. This could be a really hard phone call that shakes you up from the doctor about a medical condition that you have, a family member has, things that are typically not good news. You actually do have the power to take that bad information and let it fuel you to make better decisions that can ultimately make your life better. So that's what I want to encourage everybody here to do. We can't control when life's going to punch us in the gut and knock the wind out of us, but we can control how we get back up, how we respond to that, and what we commit to doing after we've taken that hit. So I appreciate all your support. I appreciate all the help that you guys give me. I want to be able to give back and give you something more. Let's help make BiggerPockets even better than it was when it was at the peak. All right, so if you, like me, are excited about the direction that BiggerPockets is headed, are eagerly waiting for some of this new content and frankly, more media to consume that will put you in a better mindset, that will educate you on real estate and really just kind of immerse you into the world of how you can build your own wealth, please do the smart thing and do me a favor by subscribing, liking, and sharing this video.